You're on TV, man. Get him in here. You don't want to miss this. We lit.
And the ancestors are looking out for us. God haze is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the poke chair under it. Scroll down, look at the poke chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lekker. Peace.
Young
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Rob Bot, y'all. So I was gonna let AI do the tapes on this race of extraterrestrials, but the people that have we want to hear you talk on it, right? And so tonight we got a message from this group of extraterrestrials. This is what they look like. And yeah, they wear fez. You might be there say, "Oh yeah, he got a fez on." This is how they dress. And when I get to explaining everything about these beings, you're gonna understand why they dress with the fez on and they wear a leather outfit like this. Right? We're giving people time to get in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Now, Doc said, look to the new information. We're going to crack heads at twist caps in the middle of the night. Now, if you're looking at this being right here, this dude right here is the leader of these beings called the Taucetians from the Tau Ceti star system. The Tau Ceti star system is 11.9 light years away, rounded off to 12 light years from Earth. And it's a single star system, and it has 6 planets. These beings live on the 4th planet. Right now, he might look to you like a gray alien, but they not grays. These beings are not grays. They insects. They are ant beings, right? He's an ant being. Just imagine a humanoid ant, a 4 foot tall humanoid and super intelligent ant race of species. Hey, Tau Ceti Ra, I see you. Just imagine a advanced humanoid ant species at about 4 foot tall. Now, when I was channeling this guy Alfonso, he was dropping stuff on me that was just cracking my head to where I had to go live right now to get the information out I'm writing a lot of it down, but I was like, I'm about to go live right now and drop some of this stuff because people ain't gonna even believe it. Well, if people that got an idea of what's going on, they gonna hear certain things and they gonna say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Now, this race of beings, they are an ant race, he said that they ancestors, some of they children, some of they part into this blue rock experiment. The black ant is a descendant of these beings, the black ant. right? They go look at the black ant, and they made movies called the Ant about these beings. Go watch the cartoons they put out called Ant, right? It's different cartoons they put out to show you how ants live, right? I should have downloaded that picture into that file about the ants. All right. Now, the feds, right? Because this group of ant beings was a part of a group of beings called the igigis, who got stationed on Mars. This is what Alfonso said. They were part of the igigis with the Anunnakis, who got stationed on Mars. And the Anunnakis played them. Because look, I was on the impression that the igigis came down and took actual literal coochie, right? But Alfonso said, no, that's not how it went. He said that they came down and took DNA. They came down and took DNA. That's how he said it. They came down and took DNA because the Anunnakis had promised them that they would get the Anunnakis were doing some kind of the way he put it is the Anunnakis were doing some kind of experiment what is going to create this super genetics, and that everybody that took part in it was going to get a part of a copy of this code, the genetic code. So it was a code it wasn't no coochie that they came down and took. It was a code, a genetical code that they was trying to get to upgrade their species. And the Anunnakis made a deal with them to get this if they worked for them for a certain amount of time, and they didn't come through on the promise, and that's why the fight broke out. And the Anunnakis bombed them on Mars. The Anunnakis bombed these ants, and it was other species included into. It was more than one species included into these igigis. It was different types of species, but this ant species was one, right? And they play a part in the mound building, because if you study ants build mounds. These guys built the pyramid. It was an instrument in the first level of the pyramid building in connection with the Naga species. Because if you study ants build mounds, and we are the mound builders. Keep that in mind. A lot of this might go over your head. A lot of this might make sense to if you're a star seed, this gonna resonate with you. But if you just a guy that's coming in here to laugh and think everything gets funny, you ain't gonna feel none of this. I'm telling you, man. So these ant species, this was a part of the igigis, and they was instrumental in building. They built a lot of mounds on Mars and on the backside of the moon. And they was, like I say, stationed on Mars. And they family members of the ants. So keep that in mind when you step on the ants. Now, another thing he said that struck my attention, because I said, give me some more stuff, right? Give me something else. Because they ain't gonna be feeling that part. Give me something else. So he said, all right, I got something else. He said, you ever wonder why the ant can lift up 10 times stronger than its weight? I said, I don't know why. He said, because it's a genetical trait passed down from them. See, on a planet, they come from a planet that looked just like Saturn. They showed me their planet, right? They flashed it. Matter of fact, I generated pictures of what the planet looked like. It looked like Saturn. It's about it's the fourth planet from their star, Tau Ceti, right? And it got rings around it, but it's like 4 times bigger than Saturn, and the gravity is real extra strong now. So the gravity is like 8 times stronger than what Earth, or 10 times stronger than what Earth is, right? So like say like 10 pounds here would be like almost 100 pounds there. So when the ants came here and their genetics got put here, that genetical trait of being lifting more than their body weight passed down from them coming from that planet, from the genetics upgrading. See, it's a lot. See, I'm starting to figure out. There's a lot the Anunnakis ain't telling us, man. Yeah, the Anunnakis telling us one side of the. It's always like that, though. You got to get both sides of the story. So this being saying that Alfonso saying that they didn't come down to take coochie. They took a genetical code. They wanted to get the genetical code that the Anunnakis promised them that they was gonna get after the upgrade happened. It's a whole bunch of species. Because if you go listen to that DNA tape, this really ties into the DNA tape I just put out tracing your extraterrestrial ancestral history. And it's another tape coming out called the ancestral blood type, and extraterrestrial blood types, right? But the Anunnaki gave us a storyline of that these guys were bad guys. And okay, it's a lot of information that these guys got. If you read the scripture, it tell you study the ant and how the ant moves. The ant stores up for wintertime. You know, it goes into the science of the ant. And Solomon talks about the ant. And so a lot of the scholarship and a lot of the certain things that we do as in the human sociology is coming from the ants. It's coming from these beings, this species of these creatures. And like I say, if you're just not coming on, he might look like a gray, but he said that we're not grays. We are insects. We are the ant species. Now, hold on, let me show you this. If you pull up the ant, you can see. If you pull up, if I pull up an ant, the ant, and it's different upgrades of these because they, like I say, they end up getting the genetical code because they came down and took it, and so they upgraded their species. And so it's other. I'm gonna show you pictures of what they look like because they work. He the captain. Alfonso is the captain, but he's not the leader. The leader is the queen. It's a queen that's the leader of them, right? Because they work just like an ant bed. These guys. And like I say, Alfonso said that they were instrumental in teaching the humans how to build mounds, right? The mound builders. And it makes sense because ants build mounds. Ants build mounds. Well, it's only one other creature that builds a mound when there's a couple more other creatures, but that was another creature in Pacific is the cobra. And like I say, the cobra and the ancient Egyptians used to have a cobra on their headdress, but nobody really mentioned about the ant. The ant go unnoticed. The ant, so he's small, but the ant can lift 10 times his body weight, and that's what Alfonso told me. He said that the planet is because that genetics passed down from them coming from their planet Tau Ceti, and what the name of their planet is? It's another name. It's really not it's really hard to pronounce it in English, but he gave me an English name for it. I wrote it down, and I might get AI to still do a breakdown of this whole thing. But the information was so hot right then, I had to come on and drop it. Right now, let me show another picture of let me show you a picture with the queen, because they species been upgraded since they got the genetic code. All right, so this is what a layout. This is a layout. Hold on, let me get rid of this one. I don't know how I get rid of that, but this is a layout of what their system look like, and this is their planet right here. I don't know if you can see that. This their planet right here. Look like kind of like Saturn, but it's actually 4 times bigger than Saturn. They solar system is a way more advanced solar system than our solar system. And it's other species other than them that live there. They just one of the species. It's other different types of insects that he said. And they really this particular species, the Taucetian ant race, they are mostly a neutral zord race. So because if you study the ants here, the ants really don't bother nobody, but the ants, they move in a certain type of way. So if you study how the ants move, you will get a kind of like idea on how these beings live and how they move, right? You see what I'm saying? And the black ant. So next time you step on an ant, remember Alfonso said, next time you step on an ant, remember you're stepping on one of mine. You're stepping on one of mine. Right, let me show you some more pictures of these people, though. Let me remove this one. Let me show you some more pictures of these people, man. What the queen looked like. So they upgraded their species, but this is another. They can kind of pass for grays, but they not grays. Like I say, they're the insects. So as they began upgrading their species, they began to look more humanoid looking. But like I said, they really ants. I said he gave me that name Alfonso, but his name is another name. They don't speak like we speak, right? They speak in a pheromone type language. It's really like hard to explain. He was trying to explain it to me They speak just like the ants speak, like in a pheromone type. They speak different sound, different, because smell and sound is synonymous. Smells and sounds go together, right? And so they release certain frequencies and pheromones, and that's how they communicate. It's a complex language. And so, but Alfonso was the name that he gave me this to use, that he said that he used in English when he communicate with humans and contact humans. Yeah. So yeah. And they was like, say they played a part on Mars. They played a part. The ant plays a part in the genetic human upgrade in the because it was 23 different species used to upgrade to create this genetical code that the Anunnakis was supposed to cut everybody in that was part of it. All 23 races was supposed to get the end product of the genetical code, but the Anunnakis, when they saw how powerful it was, what they did is they said, "No, we can't let everybody get this. This can't be. We got to keep it for ourselves." In a way, they said they got to keep it for themselves, and so they didn't want nobody, these other races, to pass them up. So they pretty much, a war broke out because of that. The war, one of the wars broke out because the Anunnakis then come through on what they said they was gonna do by sharing the genetical code with all 23 races that participated in the upgrade of this particular species. I'm telling you, man, just a lot of this stuff, it don't come easy, And so this is what one of the particular species. This is what they look like after they began to add the code, upgrade the genetic codes to where now they look like this. Let me show you. Let's see here. And I'm gonna get AI to do the whole movie on this still, though, about the way break down more about it. But this is what they look like. They're more humanoid looking. This is the queen right here. But they really ant species. Keep that in mind. They really ant species, but they look more humanoid. The black ant. And keep that in mind. And they wasn't a part of the four alliance species. The four alliance species were the Anunnakis, the feline race, the Centaurians, and another group that was the bird race, the blue avians. Right, these people were part of the igigis species. It was different species, though. It was more than one species, but they were part of the 300 igigis, the 300 species that were, and like I say, 23 of them participated in this genetical code that was supposed to take place, and they were supposed to get the codes afterwards. But that's why a war broke out, and the Anunnakis bombed them on Mars. When the war broke out, they bombed these guys. And on their planet, they live underground, just like ants live underground in the mounds. And like I say, if you're just not coming in, yeah, all this is coming in now. All of the, like I say, this year 2025, and this year we're gonna be doing a lot of channeling. And like I say, this extraterrestrial race here is called the Taucetian insect ant race, and they can pass for the grays. Like I say, she the queen, and then the captain. I just showed everybody the captain. Let me put the captain back up there, Captain Alfonso, because they are just like an ant species. They got worker race, they got a worker beings, and then they got a military race, and then they got just regular hands, and then they got people that take care of the queen, like the people that you see with the queen. That's her bodyguards. And so these people are intelligent species of extraterrestrials. And that Fez is coming down because they are in the book of Ezekiel, they are part of them sons of God who taught humans something that the Anunnakis didn't want them to know. They taught them how, because if how do ants, you got to think about, how do ants build mounds? What all go on in the ant bed? What all do ants know? And then think about these ants coming down, a superior ants coming down and teaching humans what they know on how to build underground facilities and how to dig tunnels. The ants dig tunnels. The ants know how to mine. So the ants were part of the mining experiment, because remember the Anunnakis came to mine the gold. So the ants played a critical part in them digging underground and learn how to excavate the tunnels and stuff. I'm telling you, man, Alfonso channeling this stuff to me right now. It's just coming to me right now as we talk. He's saying that, hey, that the tunnels and the digging, we played an instrumental part in digging for that gold because we knew how to do the tunnels. On top of the reptilians already having the tunnels already here. But the digging, they were good diggers. The ants were good diggers. That's why they put in that movie called The Ants, and they show you these ants with chisels and hammer digging underground. The ants can dig, man. So they were very instrumental in digging for the gold for the igigis and for the Anunnakis. Although the igigis never digged, this particular species probably had their lower class species down digging, but the higher species of the igigis, they stayed on Mars until they came down, right? But what I'm saying is they were, and the plans, the digging plans and ideas, they are the guys that's one of the main instrumental guys in digging underground, these ant guys. Right? And the ants, that shout out Yahshua, man. Yeah, that's right. The ants. I just said that too, but the ant got the queen, right? So the ant go by a monarchy system. The ant got a big mama. They have a big mama in their system. The big mama system is ran, that culture come down from the ants. The reptilians got it from the ants, man. I'm telling you. Because the insects are older race than the insects are older than the birds, and the insects are older than the birds and the reptilians. The insects are older than the birds and the reptilians. The birds were drafted out of the insects, right? And then the reptilians were drafted out of the birds. So and then they Mother Huber crossbred the birds back into these reptilians, create now these dragonian type reptilians with wings, serpent type beings. But like I say, the 200 igigis, it was 200 of them that came down. But like Alfonso was saying, they telling the story backwards when they say they came down and took wives. They didn't come down and take wives. They came down to get the genetical code that the Anunnakis promised them after the experiment took place. Because they took 23 different 23 different DNA strands to make to come up with the 46 chromosomes, right? And the Anunnaki added their DNA, but they don't tell you about this junk DNA. What is the junk DNA? The junk DNA is the deactivated part of your DNA that the Anunnakis deactivated so that you wouldn't surpass them. But the junk DNA can be reactivated with certain frequencies and certain things. That's why they created the certain type of music that they, is on the Nubians. All Nubian channels is in the 90s, like 99.9, 97.9, right? Sometimes you get up in the 103. A lot of y'all that listen to the radio, y'all know what stations in between 900. It's in between 90 and 100 and something, right? Most of the stations, and if most of them, the radio that they playing is low frequency vibrational music. Why? Because they know if they start playing stuff like Beethoven and things like that, and then it's other Beethoven don't just activate it because Beethoven is missing a part. The drum is key to reactivating. They know this, so that's why the African drum, that Congo drum, that's why they got rid of the Curtis Mayfield type guy. Curtis Mayfield was hitting that drum, and that drum was reactivating certain things in your DNA, and they couldn't have that going too long. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, that's why they got rid of analog and brought in digital, so they can bring in these synthetic drums, so you won't be able to reach the peak. Start back. You're telling me we're going to start back breaking the real drums out. I'm telling you, so. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. We late night up with it, 12 o'clock. Hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Young Girl TV, man. Yeah, jazz, right? Certain types of music that activated that's why they see how they muff it. Jazz is not really, nobody really talking about jazz. So all the music that they play, the Young Boy and this 808 and all this low frequency, low vibrational music, is to keep our DNA from evolving to what we were supposed to get to by 2025. That's why they perpetuated the music on the radio. They played these guys so much money, $400,000 to come do a show. Come on, man, who making that type? $400,000 to come play this crap, play this low frequency music. And so they got rid of the Marvin Gayes. They got rid of the Donny Hathaways, because they got rid of the guys who were playing the African drum. The drum is critical. They got rid of the drum. They want to get rid of the drum because the drum, as Nubians, that drum can reactivate that junk DNA. I'm telling you, man, it's what they know. Go watch that DNA tape that we put out. We put out on the video side, right? And so, like I said, from their perspective, from Alfonso and them perspective, the Taucetian ant race who come from the fourth planet, right? In the Taucetian star system, they said that they came to participate in a genetical experiment, and they was promised to get the end product that the Anunnaki is supposed to produce. They were supposed to get that code so they could go back to their planet and upgrade their species with this superior code. It ain't could go as planned, and a war broke out between them and the Anunnakis. That's what the fall was about, and that's what the Alfonso said, right? I'm telling you, man. So everybody got their perspective. Anunnaki said that these guys were bad guys. They came down and took coochie. They said, well, they took wives, Genesis chapter 6. But he said it was a genetical code. So, but that can all play out too with the same. It can all play out in the same format. But that's the higher. It was a genetical code. These people don't got it. These people know how to engineer and create clones. They was mating with their own race. They had their own people. So it's like that. You know what I'm saying? So the Anunnaki is getting exposed, man, you know, in a way. You know what I'm saying? They're getting exposed, man. And so it's 22 other races, and I think only 4 races was able to get the genetic code, and everybody else they shone, like the reptilians. The reptilians played a certain group of reptilians. Specifically, one group was and a group of amphibians. A whole bunch of different groups, a group of mammals, a whole bunch of different groups played part in this genetical experience, 23. And one of them groups was a plant race. If you look at your human veins, the veins are like a plant, right? It's several things that the human got in connection with the plant. Matter of fact, 50% of your DNA is identical to a banana. We already broke that down in the DNA tape. So you got a lot of DNA in the plant, which is why we connected with the plants. And bananas is minus the GMO. It's another thing too. This is why they doing the GMOs. The GMO is to alter your DNA. So they alter they do the genetical modified engineered vegetables and fruits so that they can alter our DNA. So they figured out now that hey, we can alter DNA because DNA is constantly changing, it's constantly adapting, right? It's constantly recording because Doc pointed it out. You know that because Doc said this. He said if you get with somebody and y'all go to kissing each other, right? And y'all swiping saliva, that y'all swapping DNA, and that DNA is now going in to record the DNA that you swap the saliva with, however y'all swap bodily fluids. That his DNA or her DNA is going into yours and copying into and adding to your DNA. And as that began, as Doc pointed out, as y'all stay together and keep doing this for a period of time, y'all begin to look alike. People that have been together for 20 years, they almost pass for brothers and sisters because they've been swapping DNA for so long. Their DNA has recorded on each other's, and that happens. And then another thing he pointed out too is that DNA is always recording. Now, a man broke his leg when he was a little boy in a certain area, and that recorded in his DNA. So when his son was born, his son ended up riding his bike, and his son broke his leg in the same area because there was a weak spot in his area from his being recorded on his DNA. And then too, depending on when you had your child and how smart you was at the time, depending on how smart your child was. If you had your child if you had a child when you was young and your mind wasn't fully developed, then that DNA, your mind not being fully developed, that's part of your DNA, and so that child gonna inherit that not fully developed DNA because you had that child at a young age. This shit, it could get deeper than that, man. When you're talking about DNA, right? It can get deeper than that, but DNA is constantly recording, and so therefore, whatever you do right now affects your DNA, and then whatever when you have a kid after from whatever point that is, whatever you did to your DNA, it goes to pass to the kid, and then that kid passes to the next kid, and then unless that kid DNA can be altered. They know that's what I was getting into. They know this. And so now they created what you call GMOs to try to alter the DNA, to try to stop us from becoming the sons of God, pretty much. Because once that junk DNA get activated, your God frequency, and you want to get a better idea on what kind of type of powers you will have if this junk DNA get activated, go watch a movie called Lucy. They put it out called Lucy, where when she began to get 96%, because you can go up to 96% brain capacity. Now you can shade shift, and then you'll begin to realize how at 40% of brain capacity she was able to shade shift and change her appearance, change her hair. So now you understand why certain extraterrestrials can do this, because they're using 40% of their brain capacity. These ant beings use more than 40% of their brain capacity, so they can come here and walk around and look like Nubians. They walk around look like Nubians, right? And they can project a certain type of telepathic image into your brain to make you think you're seeing a human, but you really seeing they really extraterrestrials. And that's the stuff that Alfonso gave me. Now I might go ahead and let AI do a whole breakdown on these guys, a more detailed breakdown on these guys. But since I was challenging it right then, I brought it to you. Like for the people that's coming in, this is not a gray. They're not grays. Alfonso said they're not grays. They are the ant species or the insect race of creatures, and that their family is the black ant. Go look up the black ant, study the black ant, and you'll get more idea on how these people live in their society. And they're advanced species from the Tau Ceti star system, which is about 11.9 light years away. And they live on a planet called Tuti is the name of their planet, Tuti, which is the fourth planet it looks just like Saturn, but it's about 4 times bigger than Saturn, and the gravity is about 8 times stronger there. And like I say, that genetical trait passed down to the ants, and that's why the ants can lift more than more than their body strength. See, a human can't lift 10 times his body weight, but an ant can. You ever wonder how's an ant on the same planet as you, and he's so small little ant, and he can lift 10 times his body weight? Why? Because that's a part of his DNA coming down from a planet that they came from. The planet had 10 times strong gravity than the Earth. So now he come here. Look, so on his planet, he lifting something that's 10 pounds, it's really 100 pounds. So when he come here and lift something that's 10 pounds, that's like lifting like less than like the tenth of that. Like lifting tenth of like 1 pound. It's like lifting 1 pound, lifting 10 pounds for an ant is like lifting 1 pound, right? Because he came from their planet. And they wasn't a slave race. They actually they was actually participating. They came as the igigis, then they were participating in the mining or the mining layouts on how to mine, because ants are good at mining underground. So the Anunnakis came here to dig for gold, and the Anunnakis had other species helping them to be more efficient and to get the gold. because they needed help. So they hired these beings to work for them in exchange for the genetical code, which they didn't want to give over. The Anunnakis didn't want to give over, and so that a war broke out, and that's why Mars is like it is right now because of that war. These beings were stationed on Mars, right? And they were just one group of these igigis. It was different species. Like I said, it was some people from Centaurians. It was some ugly jokers too. 4 arms, 6 toes, that type of guys. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't want to hold you long. You got any questions before we get out of here? Since has the atmosphere been repaired? Been repaired on Risk? On Risk? I don't know what you're referring to when you say repair. Like you talking about Earth solar system? On Risk? Yeah, Risk been prepared. Been repaired. But this is the thing, right? Risk been prepared. I mean, being repaired. But this is the thing. When we left 19, it was 19 different species or 19 different families that left when we left Elion. And they went to different parts of the galaxy, and they pretty much set up whole new kingdoms, and they don't even look the same no more. They looked at like humanoid beings, but now some of them look like the Adromatans, the blue. They look blue skinned, looking like grays, but they are Riskians originally. But everybody left their homes and went to different star systems. Our particular family, dealing with Murdoch and inking them, they went to Orion, and then later on returned as the Najarus, which is we about to get into the Najarus as we go out of the school of the Anunnakis. Our people are the Najarus, and the Anunnakis, the Najarus can fit under the title Anunnaki because they were with some of them are stationed on Nibiru, and they are part of them beings. They came down to Earth, right? But the Najarus are different species. We break that down on the Najaru tape, and we got the Najaru movie part 2 coming out. You're gonna get that's gonna actually take you to the planet Atlantis that they live on, and give you more in-depth storyline on the Najarus and who they are and what they're about. And a lot of different family members, a lot of different people are here to pick up their family. And this is one of the groups. One of the ants family is here, right? The ants, their family is here, right? And like Alfonso said, the grays are their children. The Anunnakis use, because they were stationed on Mars, right? These guys. And the Anunnakis use their genetics, use these ant beings' genetics to partially create the grays. And these insect beings called the Meldekians. They are the ancestors of these Meldekians and the ancestors of these grays, these beings here, these Taucetian beings. And they brought scholarship to the planet and was teaching the humans. See, they don't go into this when they tell you when they telling you about the 200 fallen, and they tell you about these beings that came down and taught the humans. They don't really go into the description on what type of beings they was. They just say they were angels. Another angel can translate to messengers, right? But we can translate that to extraterrestrials. So they don't go into detail on what they look like. Right, so they leave you under the impression that they was all humanoid looking with wings and white guys that came out the sky. Nah, man, these were different species of extraterrestrials who played part in a genetical experiment, and they were supposed to get a part of that code. They were supposed to get that genetical code from the Anunnakis, but the Anunnakis kept it for themselves. And it's like this. Yeah, the ants are part of your DNA. Let's do a cross. Well, we're gonna do it in a tape. Let's do a cross reference on the connection between how humans live in their society and how ants live in their society, and then see and see why did they tell you to take note from the ants. Take note of the ants. The ants represent scholarship. The ants represent survival. The ants represent longevity, right? You can flood some ants out. How do ants survive a flood? It can flood and then the ants be right back. How the ants survive? They go underground. The ants know how to go underground. I'm telling you, they know how to dig underground. The ants know how to dig. They put a movie out about it called Ants, where they show ants digging. And they trying to tell you that these ants were part of the Anunnaki digging, man, for the gold. They was instrumental in the digging for the gold. You don't think so? All my star seed can feel it. My star seeds. Man, the veil is lifting now. 2025 is the year of the lifting of the veil. We already opened the sixth seal during the eclipse. The sixth seal is already open. So a lot of we going into the plane of divine truth, where a lot of information is being revealed rapidly. And Doc said that we were gonna go into the plane of divine truth. Well, all this information is gonna come out. More extraterrestrials gonna start revealing themselves and telling about themselves. And like I say, I challenged this being. I was outside looking up at the Tau Ceti star system, and boom, this right here came to me. And then boom, once I got the image, I got AI to regenerate what the dude looked like and what he had on. This is what he looked like. And then when I said, dang, he looked, at first I said, man, he looked like a gray. I was thinking that he was a gray. Then he said, no, I'm not a gray. I'm an ant. I'm an ant species. And then I looked at him again and said, man, he do look like an ant, right? And so, and I didn't even tell the AI to make him look like an ant. I just typed in how he looked. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even say the word ant. And then later on, he told me, no, I'm not a. I said, you must be a certain type of species of gray. No, he says I'm an ant species. And the black ant is some of their ancestors. Well, they are the ants. The different species of ants come down from them. And it's some aggressive clans like the red ants and the bullet ants. The bullet ants are some of the aggressive clans, but the Taucetians, they more of a superior. They more of a like an old race. They billions of years old, like billions, maybe even trillions years old. They was around a long time with the one of the first races that been around with the Anunnakis. These guys, because the insects is one of the oldest species, oldest races. So we talking loud, man. We up at 12:30. I'm about to get ready to get off. It says, what about? Yeah. So okay, all right. Yeah. So they come down. They are this crossbreed off of these beings. The yardists are the predator. You talking about the predator? The predator are offshoot of these beings. But the predator is crossbred with termites. They got the termite mixture. They got the humanoid mixture. That these beings are older than the predators. The predators are species drafted off these beings, but they got the termite species added into them, and they all come from Andrometans, right? But these beings come from Andrometans and then came to the Tau Ceti star system and said they've been there billions of years in that star system. Yeah, so that's what we wanted to bring to you, man. We got any questions before we get up out of here? So the predators are ant species as well, but they're different species. If you look, they're different species. They got the actual claws on their face, right? That's right. Smart. And so, like I say, this is the Project Blue Rock. So a lot of planets in your galaxy don't got more than 2 or 3 races on it, right? Earth is the only planet, one of the only planets on this side of the galaxy that's got thousands, if not millions, of different species, like from like fish insects, mammals, etc. Different types of humans, right? So this is like a DNA bank for different creatures in the universe, and that's why you get the extraterrestrial sightings of different extraterrestrials coming here, because they're coming here to do research and study the DNA in the different evolutionary stages that's taking place on Earth, because they're upgrading their DNA, because they are descendants or the ancestors of this species. And like I say, this was a mission that was supposed to be also the upgrading of a genetic code. And at the end, the Anunnaki is supposed to give all these 23 races this code, but some of them they didn't want to give it to, and that's part of the reason another war broke out on Earth and on Key, right? That's what they call Earth, and on Mars, which they call Lamu, right? So the Anunnakis is telling their side that these the 200 fallen guys were bad guys. But like Alfonso said, man, we ain't come down and take nothing. Well, we came down and took it, but only after they didn't want to give it to us. And it wasn't no coochie, it wasn't no wives. It was actually a DNA code to upgrade their species, right? And that's how I want to share with you. We'll be back. Young TV, we out, man. We love you all. Freedom Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi York, man. Never have it been made so clear.